I'm excited for this new year because I think, I don't know about you, but I love New Year's. Who likes the new year? Who likes, and then if you like it, keep your hands up if you keep any New Year's resolutions. Anybody do New Year's resolutions? Is that a thing anymore? No? You guys? Kind of? Okay, cool. You do? Okay. Well, when I was your age, I didn't do them either, but you ever hear the phrase, new year, new you? Yeah? Okay. All right. Do you think that's possible? No, it's not possible, right? Why is it not possible? Because listen, just because a calendar went from 2021 to 2022, that means you're still the same you. So whatever baggage you brought into the new year, whatever problems, whatever habits, however you view yourself, it's still the same. Just because a calendar date has changed doesn't mean you're a completely new person. And I want to talk about, as we kick off this new year, 2022, I'm so excited because for the next 4 weeks, I just want to talk about our identity. Our identity. Who we are, because it's really popular nowadays. It's so popular nowadays. Everybody's talking about it, so I want to talk about it. I want us to talk about it here as a big circle, but then also break up into small circles and talk about our identity. And if you love to read the Bible and you have the YouVersion Bible app, we actually are, with this series, you could do a 20-day YouVersion devotional that is kind of going along with this series. And if you want that, you could go in the link in the bio and you can do that and follow along and post on your story and share that you're doing it if you want to, for those that want to do that. But listen, I know you're struggling with your identity. I know you're struggling with your self-worth and how you view yourself. How do I know that? Because 2 reasons. One, I was your age once, but I also talk to you guys a lot. And there's this common theme of negativity. There's this common theme that when we think about ourselves, it's very toxic and it's not healthy. And it's not good. Every one of us, I feel like, has this low view of themselves, including myself sometimes, if I'm being honest. Where maybe depression seeps in or whatever comes and goes, but there is, even in this wave, even in this world, there's this thing of us talking about it because there's been a problem humanity-wise of how do you see yourself? How do you view yourself? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? And listen, I believe this, it's one of the key tasks of every person, and especially every follower of Jesus, to discover their identity and calling. St. Augustine, who is probably none of you guys know except for Jaden, he was a very old theologian, but he even said this. He said, "Grant, Lord, that I may know myself, that I may know thee," God. Because the truth is self-knowledge, God knowledge, and others' knowledge are all tied together. So it's really important that we talk about this. It's really important that you guys at an early age, when your brain and your just worldview is being formed, that you understand who you are. And then one of the core truths that I want to talk about in the next 4 weeks is that God has made you, each and every one of you, distinct. That's why we're calling this series for the next 4 weeks Distinct. That the truth is that God has made you distinct. It's not snowflakey theology that you are here for a purpose, that if you have life and breath in your lungs, that you are here for a reason. God has given you gifts and abilities and unique talents to love God and love others better, and it's important to discover that. And there's a lot of ways you could discover how God has uniquely made you, and you can grow in that. But I want to take a step back for the next couple of minutes. But before we discover who we are, we need to discover somebody else first. And because if you want a new you need a new source. If you want to take notes, write that down. It's going to be up on social media later, so if you forget, you can screenshot it. But listen, if you want a new you need a new source. And so, because there's many places to find your identity. And before we talk about our own identity, I want to focus on somebody else's identity. And I want to focus on the person of Jesus for just a little bit. Because no matter where you land, no matter what worldview you have, I believe this, that if you see Jesus for who he is, that it helps discover who we are. Because I believe this, it's a really good place when you're forming your worldview and when you start to think about yourself, that you try to figure out who Jesus is. Because I believe this, if you see Jesus for who he is, it helps discover who we are. And the thing is, many people think that Jesus was just maybe a good man. That he's a guy that lived a really long time ago, but he doesn't really affect our lives today. Maybe you think he was a good teacher. Maybe you think, you'll hear a lot of people define Jesus in a lot of different ways, and culture, in the news, whatever. But man, I think it's the best place to look at people who've experienced Jesus firsthand. And one of those people, his name was John. And John was one of Jesus' close buddies. He hung out with Jesus. He saw what Jesus did, heard what Jesus said, and was one of Jesus' close friends. And the Gospel of John is a book in the Bible that we call the Bible, in the library of Scripture, that John is a gospel, and its primary reason he wrote it is so that people will believe in who Jesus actually is. So I don't know what you believe about Jesus and who Jesus is to you, but John wrote a lot of pages to try to convince you and try to make you believe in who Jesus is. And so I want to literally open up to the first page in John. So if you want to turn there, you can if you want to. I'm going to be on John chapter 1, verse 1. And I'm just going to start on what John has to say about this man named Jesus. He says this: in the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God, and God created everything through him. And nothing was created except through him. That's so many words, and it's kind of like this poetic thing going on, and there's so much going on in those 3 verses, but I just want to pinpoint that this statement alone is distinct from any other description of Jesus in Scripture. That Jesus is literally described the Word, and in Greek, the word is logos, which means divine reason. Divine means God, being like God, or having God-like qualities. And reason means having the ability to think, make decisions, and form thoughts. So divine reason means Jesus was the one with the ability to think and act like God. John is making a pretty bold claim. That this man that lived 2,000 years ago, check the historical records, he lived and he died and he rose again. Yet that man would claim to be God. That's distinct. There's nothing ever like that. He wasn't just a normal man, which he was. He was a human. He wasn't just a good teacher, and he's a really great teacher. But he wasn't just that. He wasn't just someone who did great things. He was indeed God. And that's my next point I want to just share with you, that Jesus is distinct. That there's no one ever like him. But why does this matter to me? Anthony, you're talking about identity, and then you start talking about Jesus. What does this even mean? How does this have to do with my identity? Well, it has everything to do with it, and that's why you got to come next week. We're really going to unpack what that means. But I want to continue and read the next few verses in verse number 4. It's going to be on the screens if you want to read along. It says this: the Word, Jesus, gave life to everything that was created. And his life brought light to everyone, and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. What does this mean? Well, so I had some props to bring up on stage, but I totally forgot about it. So Chris Mayo, can you go right around that corner over there? This is bad planning on my part, sorry. But listen, everybody, I just want to make an analogy real quick. Everybody's like this iPhone. Everybody, who's got an iPhone? Raise your hand. Okay. If you're not raising your hand, you are a sinner. Okay. And listen, if your parents don't allow you to have a phone yet, make sure you tell them an iPhone. Okay. Yes, sinner, heathen. Okay. Any Android people that are proud of it? Okay, that is under the age of 35. No. Oh yeah, that one. Come on, bring it up. Give it a round of applause for Chris Mayo here tonight. Helps protect you guys, helps serves you guys. Thank you so much, Chris. So we're all like this phone. And we go throughout our day, who charges their phone overnight and leaves it plugged in, charging overnight? Cool. So we go throughout our day, and life is crazy, right? And life drains you. And throughout the day, if you do a lot of things and you're trying to you just go in throughout your day, you turn on a lot of apps. What happens if you have a lot of apps loading on your phone? What happens? battery drains, right? It starts to die, and it's a problem, and so you need a charger. So, man, it's crazy how many chargers there are. There's so many chargers out there, it's like unbelievable. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. There's so many chargers you can face. Oh crap, those are my headphones. Yeah. There's so many chargers. I mean, there's Android chargers, then there's so many Apple chargers. But the thing is, if I don't have the right charger, I'm not going to be able to charge this phone, right? So I can be like, hey, Holland, you got an Android, right? Hey, can I have an Android cable? Okay. Yeah, I can look. I actually got one for you, Holland. So if you want, or anybody else that has an Android, I got you tonight. All right. So if you need a charge, I got you. But the thing is, it won't work. It's not gonna work. And man, but here's the crazy thing. There's Apple chargers. I got another Apple charger right here. No, this is for my laptop, but it's still an Apple charger. Even though it's the same product, Apple products, it won't charge. And I can scour all the cables in the world. Until I have the distinct cable, I'm not going to be able to charge my phone. Anthony, what are you saying? Well, I feel like when we're looking for our identity, when we're trying to place our worth and identity in something, we need something really distinct that's actually going to work. And you can look and you can pursue all the different ways that you can grab a sense of identity and worth and self-worth. But until you got the right distinct thing that's actually going to charge your life and actually going to be something of use for you, it's not going to work out. Because so many of you are chasing, maybe sexuality is your identity. That your whole worth and how you view yourself is through your sexuality. Maybe it's through relationships. Maybe until this person likes me or this person likes, it just shows me some attention, then I'll be able to have some self-worth. Maybe it's attention. Maybe it's fame, popularity, whatever it is. Maybe it's material things. We're going to be talking about that next week. But listen, there's so many different ways to seek out identity. But until you have the distinct cable that works, that fits in, that starts to charge, it's not going to make any difference. And so until you get the right one, you'll see. And listen, I'll just let you know a little secret. Jesus is that distinct cable for you. That he's the only one that's going to be able to fill you up and give you a sense of true identity that's actually going to last. That's actually going to be worth it. That actually is going to work for you. Because you could try a lot of different ways and you could try a lot of different things, but Jesus is distinct. And listen, I want to end on this. If you haven't listened to me yet, just listen to me right now. It's going to be on the screens. But if you really want to discover your identity, a better identity, a new identity, our journey to discover who we are, who you are, starts when we discover who Jesus is. It starts there. When you see Jesus for who he is, not what religion has taught you, not what maybe you've even heard on a Sunday morning or some preacher guy. I don't care. I want you to see who Jesus is. Because if you see who Jesus is, it can change your life. And listen, there's Apple cables that look like that would work for my iPhone, but it won't work. Because some of you place your identity in church. Some of you place it on good things, like being a good person. Maybe it's reading the Bible or having really good theology or worship music. I don't know what it is for you, but until you get the right distinct cable, you're never going to be charged up, and you're never going to have a sense of identity and purpose. So I want us, with every head bowed and every eye closed, to just reflect on these moments. And I want you to think of this one question as we close. Who is Jesus to you? I want you to, when you think of Jesus, who is Jesus to you? Is he some guy that lived a long time ago that some weird people believe about? Who's Jesus to you? Is he a good person? Was he a good guy? Or is he God? Is he Lord of your life? Is he King of your life tonight? And it's the beautiful thing about the gospel and what we believe and why we go so hard about this whole Christianity stuff is that because it's a free gift. If you want to actually make Jesus the King of your life, it's not because of anything you've done. It's because of who he is and what he has done for you. And if you know that you're broken and you know you chase all these things and feel some self-worth, that it doesn't work, you can begin a journey of discovering who you were made to be and discover your identity and calling when you make Jesus the King of your life. And I just want you to trust him tonight. I want you to make that decision to trust him tonight, to believe in him, not just to believe in him knowledge-based, but to trust him and follow him and love him and love others. So if you want to begin that journey right now, just start talking to God. It's a beautiful thing about this, what we believe is that God's not this, you don't have to talk to me, then I talk to God. And no, you could talk to the Creator, the Alpha and the Omega right now. And you could just be honest with him. Say, God, I'm sorry for the broken things that I chase. I'm sorry for the things that I look to satisfy my heart and my deepest longings. And I choose to change my mind. I choose to believe something different. And I choose to trust you.